Welcome to the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast with your host, Julie C. Butler. If you're looking to build the business of your dreams, then this is the space you want to be in. Join Julie as she talks about ways that you can successfully scale your profitable dream business, one that will give you ultimate time freedom and the abundant lifestyle you deserve. Julie will take you by the hand, sharing with you her business savvy strategies as she chats it up with her favorite online entrepreneurs. You'll get a weekly dose of boosted confidence as you learn as they reveal their insight, tips, and tools that you need to start building a profitable dream business of your own, one that you'll love and that works for you on autopilot.
Hello, and welcome back to the show. Today, we have my beautiful friend, Bethany Taylor, with us. Bethany is a human design and transformation coach. She works in the realm of empowerment, allowing you to come home to and remember how it feels to live a life fully embodied by you. She merges human design and subconscious reprogramming to make the mind the ally, the body the leader, so that you can permanently let go of the external conditioning that has kept you from the potential you know you are here for. Hey there, today I have Bethany with us. Bethany, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Lovely to be here. It's really, really nice to be here.
I know, and we always meet like at opposite ends of the day.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't too bad when because we do daylight savings, so it wasn't too bad before because I had the extra hour, right? So like 7:30 in the morning for you was like 6:30 p.m. for me, but now it's an exact 12 hours.
Yeah. And Bella doesn't have daylight savings. So when everybody else's changes, I'm like, what is going on? Like, someone tell me why like these calls are moving. But time zones are a crazy one.
And I don't even think it's the same, like the US and Canada change at the same time, but I don't think that the UK, does the UK do the daylight? I think they do, right?
I think it's September and then another time, but I don't think it's exactly
but it's not the same as us. And then which is kind of like it's something we always have to check to make sure we're in the correct time zones. That's so funny. And so whenever I book something with Bethany, I'm like, give me your calendar. and then you can choose whatever. I'll pick a time that works on your schedule, that because it's not on your schedule is not on my schedule. It's never there. Anyway, all that to say that welcome. And I'm super excited today because we're going to talk about human design. And I love this topic so much. And it's really funny because just a little backstory of how Bethany came into my world. After the summit that I hosted in October, I was like, you know what? I never even thought to have someone like talk about human design or anything on the summit. And I'm like, I think that's something that I want to have the next time. And you popped up in my Instagram, like you added me as a friend, you followed me, and then I followed you back. And I'm like, who is this girl? It's like she just magically appeared.
Yeah, that's how it happens though, right? Like wait to respond and it's like, boop, there you go.
I know. It's funny. And then we just started chatting and it was instant connection right away. So I just I know your vibe is so cool. And well, I'm not going to lie, your exotic lifestyle also it was attracting to me. So I was like attracted to you because of your beautiful background that we see now, and that is not fake. It's a for real background.
It's a real tree. It is really beautiful here.
Yeah. And you truly live life by design, which is what we all want to do, right? So that's the cool part. And so anyways, before we dive in to human design, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a human design and transformation coach. My core pillar really being transformation on the deeper rooted level of getting right in there and pulling up whatever it is that's in the way. And I found through my own experience that working with the mind and the subconscious and really becoming that watcher and like seeing what thoughts are yours and what are actually intrusive thoughts from a past version of you or a part of you, and then being able to reconnect with your body through human design and reading your own energy I just saw how much that changed my own life and how much it changed my clients' lives. And yeah, I decided to make that my work. So
I love it.
Doing the damn thing.
So you started out on a different path and then you discovered human design. Is that what happened? And then you were like,
yeah,
what?
I started in network marketing actually, with Kangen Water, which I don't know if you've heard of. Quite a few
I have, yes, yep.
Yeah, I started with Kangen Water. I hit the top rank in that business. And it was funny because this was where it started to come in. I'd hit the top rank, which was like the goal, right? The dream, like hit that, you've made it. And I didn't even realize I'd hit it because I was moving into my service is to serve more people in breaking through. And it wasn't even really about the product. It was about helping the people on my team. So I started to realize it was bigger than that. And that was just that gateway. So then I certified in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming for the mind. And then human design just found me. Like it literally, and then, yeah.
I guess you could say it found me too, because I've never we're all introduced to the different, like there's different modalities or whatever you want to call them, like, numerology. And then there's, whatever, there's different things, Enneagram, and then, all that kind of stuff. And nothing ever stuck for me. But once I discovered human design, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And the first time I plugged in my numbers to get my chart, I kind of read through it, but then it was kind of like, whatever, right? Like it's there. And then, but it came back to me. It came back to me. Yeah, it came back to me and I was like, you know what? This is a really like a concept that I resonate with, that I feel aligned with, and I want to know more. And then, with the apps and whatever, I kind of like discovered a little bit more and more about my chart and stuff like that. And then when I met you, and then you had the Empower program. And so I'm like, this is perfect. So I joined your program, and then just from doing your program and working with you and having, a strategy session with you. Actually, we've had a few, but just learning more and more. And I love what you say about human design, because you always say, that it's a journey, right? Like it's impossible to know everything at the beginning. It's one of those things that you kind of explore, discover, experiment with over time. Like it's not an overnight thing. Yeah. So
all personal growth, right? Like, it is not something, and again, we sometimes think if we understand it, we've got it. Yeah. But we haven't. And it's really about the application and okay, that worked. Okay, that didn't. Like, okay, I did I went with my mind, and like just observing that, like life is a play.
I love that. I love how you say that, and how you say that, go experiment with it, go explore the different things. Like no matter what your chart says, doesn't mean that you have to be that exact embodiment of whatever your chart says, right? Like you can play with it. And I love it when you say that. But before we dive in, because I'm sure there's listeners that are like, what? Human design? What is that? And then they'll be like, yes, I want to learn more.
Absolutely. Yeah. So human design in a very small nutshell, because if I start going into like the depths, it's basically a roadmap to read your own energy. So if you can really look at your body as a vessel, and then look at your consciousness as the kind of spirit inside, whatever you believe, it doesn't really matter, but you are a consciousness in a vessel, and without the vessel, you cannot be conscious. And, without the consciousness, the vessel can't work. So you need those pieces, and it works on the concept of energy. Everything is energy. We are moving through time and space, and we are a collection of energy. So if you can understand how this collection of energy works, then you can understand where you may be being impacted by other energies, where you may be using your energy against you. And it's really like almost getting a manual to a vehicle. So imagine that you have a car and you've been given a BMW vehicle, but it's a Range Rover, and I'm worried that this sun's going to come straight through and like blind me. And you basically have been using this BMW manual, and some of the buttons are working, but you keep meeting resistance, and then someone hands you the right manual, your life is going to change completely. And this is what human design allows you to do. It allows the logic mind to get on board and see what is happening, And then it allows you to take that and start pressing the buttons in your life and like see what happens as a byproduct.
That's a really good explanation. I love that. And
I always say it different every single time.
Every time. I know. Whatever. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I love that. I know that sun's really coming in, but it's cool. It's like the aura.
I think like maybe I can.
We have like a flare now. That's really cool. And so I was really attracted to human design because I was like, okay, if I can learn more about my human design, maybe it's going to explain some of the things that I've been resisting in my business, in my life, or maybe some of the things I should be doing that I've not yet explored. And so I really wanted to, because don't you find that sometimes like you're doing the work and you're doing the things and you're moving along and you think that you're doing it right, but you're not getting the results?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's got to be something, right? And as soon as I started learning more and more about my human design, and I say it now, like, I'm like people, I'm like, it's not in my DNA.
Yeah.
I'm not made like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's almost like your magnet gets turned backwards when we're pushing. And then when we're actually able to turn that around the right way, we become magnetic, but life actually becomes so much easier too.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not forcing anymore. We're simply just being. And that is where the application comes in. Can you trust that this information will lead you? And can you stay grounded in those moments where your mind doesn't really understand and stay rooted?
Mm-hmm. And also, like, I remember in your program, you said something that was, you said, like, you can hear about what it is, but you don't have to remember it, right? Like, you don't have to remember every single detail. I think that as long as we have like the bit of the base and the concept and knowing that it's a part of us, that we don't have to know everything by heart, that we can just move through life, but knowing, okay, well, why is it that I resist this? Or why is it that I don't want to do that? Or I want to do this, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that it can really make a huge impact on your life, knowing more about your human design and knowing more about you, how we were created, right? Yeah. To do things. It's really, really, really cool. Like, I love human design. So talk about because there's different designs. So I know that human design could be like a week training, but we don't have that much time. I mean, we can have all the time in the world, but like, I don't think that a 5-hour podcast episode would go over very well.
For the types?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 5 human design types, and whether you know about human design or not, these are the first things that you're probably going to come across. Mm-hmm. So there is the generator, the manifesting generator, the reflector, projector, and the manifester. So each have a different aura. Now, an aura is kind of like our energetic field. It's about 3 to 7 foot wide. So when we're out in the world, our aura is kind of affecting anyone around us, and anybody around us' aura is affecting us. So the generator and the manifesting generator, their aura is, their aura is like open and inviting. They're drawing things into them through just responding to life and what lights them up. So this isn't just, like work, but this is the sun is shining and I want to go out and have a walk. Oh, I bump into my soulmate. It's all these different pieces that when we can trust that life is coming to us, it will find us. But what we tend to do as generators, because the archetype of the generator and manifesting generator is the creative builder. So we're really designed to work, to build on the things that light us up. But because we know we have this energy capacity, we can overdo it and we can push and we can try and make things happen. But then we end up being frustrated because it's never going to work that way as much as we think it will. It's actually going to work when we do the work through knowing that we're available for it and then letting it come to us and really trusting, because there's also these phases with the generator that we have these like turn off moments where the taps are off. It feels like nothing's happening. And when that's in your business, where you're running your own business, like that can feel scary. but you are recharging, you are regenerating, and it is so powerful on the other side. So that is those two types. The difference between the generator and the manifesting generator is that the manifesting generator has kind of qualities of the manifestor type, that once they kind of get that go ahead, they move very, very quickly into action. And it's more of a multifaceted type where they're doing like 5 different businesses and everybody's like, how like, is that possible for you, you know? But it just is. Whereas the generator will kind of do a few things, but it's usually one kind of rooted thing. And then they sometimes go through these periods of like, do I want this? Like, do I not? And then once they move through that, it's there. The projector is the guide. So 20% of the population. And these guys are really here to understand the other. And it doesn't mean that they don't understand themselves, but they are the guides. They are here to share their process with the world and be recognized for that and called in and invited in to share their magic, which is so beautiful. But the lesson for projectors is not to associate themselves with the generator, not the heavy workload, to really wait for the recognition instead of going in and trying to like solve the problem, because then they meet resistance. The manifestor, 9%. So these guys are whole different species. Like my partner's a manifestor and I'm just like, wow. These guys need a lot of freedom, a lot of space, a lot of, you know, they go into action as soon as it comes. And if they meet resistance in that kind of time frame, it can really cause a lot of anger with them. So for them, it's informing. They let people around them know of what's about to happen, and then they will be left uninterrupted and they can move into action. They really are the trailblazers. Like they do things very differently. They create very differently. And then the final one is the reflector, which is 1% of the population, completely open, super mirrored energy. And they're really here to understand their environment and what feels good to them, and not to attach their identity and make decisions through other people. But when they can do that, they can really start to help. A lot of reflectors are intuitives because they can feel so much and they can really amplify energy. So yeah, those are the 5 types.
We interrupt this episode to share with you something really exciting. Are you a solopreneur looking for the ultimate roadmap with all the pieces that you need to successfully scale a profitable business? One that will give you the freedom and abundant lifestyle that you deserve? Then register today for the free Build Your Beautiful Business Online Summit. This is the only summit of its kind that brings you over 35 experts that will inspire you to get unstuck and gain the confidence that you need to finally build the business you've always dreamed about. This summit is filled with so many actionable strategies that will take you from feeling overwhelmed and stuck to becoming proud and confident and authentically showing up as yourself and sharing your amazing gifts with the world. No more spending all that time downloading all those free PDFs just trying to piecemeal your business together and getting nowhere. By the end of this event, you're going to be able to take exactly what you've learned from each one of these amazing experts and create your own customized plan to build your beautiful dream business, one that is abundantly profitable and also works on autopilot for you. And yes, it's 100% free. So register now for free at www.beautifulbusinesssummit.com or click on the link in the show notes of this podcast episode.
Cool. And I think like the first step is like doing going on the website or the apps and pulling up your chart and just reading up on those components of it. It's really cool to begin to understand human design and what you're made of. It's so cool. So now let's talk
about via my bio as well. In my bio, I do a free chart and I send them a voice note too, like on their chart.
You do? Okay, so we're going to put that in the show notes.
Yeah, sure. It's just in my Instagram bio. I can send you the link. But
okay.
Yeah, I always send like a little PDF of their chart, and then I send a voice just being like, this is what I see.
That is so cool. I love that. And I know like for me, for us group that were in your program, you mirrored our partners' charts together, like the relationship kind of like together charts, which is so cool. Like so cool.
So good. Yeah, it really shows us how we collaborate our energies. You know, we're only really our human design on its own when we're on our own. And then as soon as we're in the field of another, whether that's even online, you know, our charts merge and our charts move and we bridge places where we might be open. And this is where like our energies literally plug together. And this is what chemistry is. You know, this is what, when you meet someone and you go, I feel like I know you, or God, like you feel really good to me. Like it's chemistry. It's literal energetic chemistry.
We should merge our charts.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Let's see what we're made of.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So how can human design help with building an aligned business? Because I mean, that's what we're here to hear about, right?
Of course. I said this in a reading yesterday, actually, and it was a business reading. And I said to her, you know, the way that I navigate my design is that my business strategy is my human design strategy. So my strategy is to wait to respond. Well, not even wait, but just to respond. And by doing that, I allow myself the space. I create from that response of, ooh, I had an idea. Let me create a reel. Ooh, I had an idea. Let me write this post. Let me post that post. And it's really in resonance because it's in resonance with me and I haven't forced it. So the people who then align come into my field as a byproduct, you know, even like how we connected was through that response. And so it can really create and remove a lot of confusion because you're no longer going, does that strategy work? Does that strategy work? And you can come back to yours and test this out. And not only is it in business, but your whole life will change as a byproduct.
You know what? Like I'm listening to you every time we talk, I like learn something new or there's like a new aha moment, right? Like, so, you know, I'm a generator, you know, I'm sacral. So I'm very much all about my intuition and the feeling, right? Like if it's a yes feeling or if it's a no feeling, I just know. Like I make decisions to purchase a course or a program or sign up for a workshop or like get a session with you. If it says yes and it feels yes and I listen, right? I mean, you know, I mean, we could go in deeper into this, but that being said, leaning into that, kind of wish I knew that sooner because I was resisting the whole social media thing before Christmas, right? I was like having FOMO and spending so much of my time and energy thinking about the things I should be doing on Instagram, for example, instead of like tuning into my soul, my human design, if you want, and listening and just going with my gut and my intuition. And so I took a break from social media. And I think I told you this on another call. And I came back and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to listen to what it tells me inside and I'm going to run with that. Yeah. And my numbers are still going up. Yeah, right? Like my followers are going up, like it's working because it's alignment with who I am. Right. So that's really cool and neat that you say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same, like the strategy is the calling things in, but then the authority is the decision and your authority is sacral. So this sacral authority, it's really about tuning into your gut of like, am I pulled to this or am I drawn away from it? Am I wanting to say hell yes? Or am I And even the way that, you know, you joined my program, it was very much like, I don't know how, I don't even know if this is the right time, but I know. And it was like, boom, 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 like I'm in. And this is it. And it's, you know, there's so much in the world, like in business, in life, where, you know, maybe we want to hire a coach. Maybe we want to, you know, invest in our business or scale our business, which is an investment. And our mind is saying like, maybe we won't get that return. Maybe we won't get what we want. Maybe, you know,
so many maybes.
So many. And it's so valid and so normal. But if we trust our body, it's never going to actually make sense. But what's on the other side is your body knows what it needs energetically to bridge you into that next phase. And it will provide you those opportunities for you to respond to get there.
And it's really magical when you can get to that place of understanding that, letting go, and it just magic happens. opportunities come, doors open that you never thought possible before. It's really incredible. When letting go, I think, is also a big part of it. Like, I think that, you know, in life and in business, letting go of the outcome, just trusting, right? The universe always has our back, no matter what, right? But I mean, you know, it doesn't hurt to learn why we do the things we do, why we resist the things we resist, or even how maybe I was meant to run my business, right?
Absolutely. And I always come back to the, like, human design. If you dive in, or if you choose to do a reading or whatever, like, you're going to realize that it's nothing that you don't already know. It's probably something that you've put in a box and suppressed. And so it's a permission slip to come back to that knowledge, because actually it's just your true nature. And so many of us have really been disconnected from that true nature. And so it feels foreign to us. But actually that is why there's that, like, oh my God, this is me. Oh my God, really? Like, I get to be that way? Yeah. And that actually supports you better than trying to be somebody else.
I know. It's kind of like, don't you wish like more people in the world understood their human design? I think it would be a better place.
Like,
right?
It should be in school. Like, forget the, like, some of the lessons that they share in school, you know, human design, you know, money management, sweet. We're good to go.
I know. Oh boy.
Yeah. You know, it's something I'm like, maybe, you know, there's so many people learning about it now who, you know, these generations that are learning, we're going to bring children into the world that are aware of this, and maybe we treat them by their design as they grow up. And so they're not going to have as much unraveling to do later down the line, like we are right now, where we're like pulling all apart and reinstalling new software.
It's really cool when you start looking at your family's charts, even your friends' charts, and understand, like, you can make the connection, you know. And sometimes I'll even be like, I don't know everything yet or understand everything, but like, you know, I have friends and I'll be like, ooh, I wonder what their human design is. Like, I bet you it's this, right?
We all had like tattoos, you know, at birth, where we just put it on our arm, and it's just like, this is who I am. And you're like, oh, okay, no, like, they've got that chat, like, we're staying clear of that. That's like it's a dark area for me, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, wow, like, they have that rich, like, I know that I'm really, really motivated in that energy, and like, we can just plug it in. Yeah, it's so cool.
Even just knowing if we're a generator, a mangen, or a manifesting generator, or a projector, or like, so my husband's a generator, same as me, but I have a manifesting generator son, and one's a projector. Yeah. So it's really cool.
Just all the generator energy in the house. Like,
yeah. Okay, cool. So now that we've covered that, what are the top 2 effective things to learn about your design? Because I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, like, so we could have like literally a week-long workshop.
Start with strategy and authority. So when you get your human design chart, whether you get it through me or you go to bodygraph.com, you're going to get the chart, which is going to be like a circuit. Then you're going to get type, strategy, authority, and then a load of other stuff. Hone in on your type, which is the generator, mangen, projector, manifestor, reflector, and then the strategy, which is the way that you call things in, your magnetism, and then authority, which is how you make decisions. Because if you're applying that, if you're really working with that, then you're automatically going to be in alignment with your true nature. Because if the right things are coming in, and you're allowing them to, and then you're saying yes to them or no to the wrong things, then you're naturally in alignment. So I know there's a lot, and I know you're gonna want to go to the numbers and the colors and the blah. Just take your time. Like, it really is a journey. And I found this, like, I got overwhelmed. I bought a blueprint when I first found human design, and I got overwhelmed. I understood none of it. What I needed at the time was a reading, for sure. But I didn't know that, because I was like, it's not a priority for me. Like, why would I invest that money in this? But when I started to really dissect it, I realized that it takes time. Like, I'm still learning fractals by design. I'm still making decisions sometimes from my mind and not my body, and then realizing it is literally a journey. And to start there is to build a really strong foundation upon it.
Mm-hmm. And so that's really that's awesome. And it's, I think, also a good place to start as like a consumer and have been through it myself. Right. And I think just start from the beginning and I mean, we all consume differently and we all understand differently. So go at your own pace and I think that the biggest thing is not to be frustrated if you don't get everything from the beginning. And if some stuff doesn't make sense, because you can go in deep, right. And I think that you're an amazing resource, because you're always talking about the different things of human design and sharing the different things and the readings that you do, or the different gates and stuff like that on your Instagram. And so I think that if you're really interested, if you're listening to this episode and you're really interested in learning more about human design, definitely go find Bethany on Instagram, because she's always sharing about human design tips, tricks, and different your expertise and your experience and your opinions and suggestions and all that stuff. So
yeah, we just opened a human design page too, called the Human Design Lab. So that's going to be even more of learning in a very easy, applicable, interactive way. So yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Awesome. So, speaking of that, so you mentioned that you have the free chart on your Instagram bio. We'll put that in the show notes. But if someone's really interested in learning more and maybe working with you, what's the best way to find you? And how can they work with you?
Sure, of course. Instagram's my main page. Mm-hmm. So I would just head to Instagram and just check it out. There's a reading link. There's a lot of different pieces. I really start from reports where you can just get a visual report. There's 90-minute sessions with reports. And then there's also, 3-month packages where if you're really I want to learn all my design with support, then it's 3 workshops and chat support, so there's a lot of different options. But the place to start if you're new, mm-hmm. I would say is get the free chart reading, the little snippet, and also a reading, because a reading is going to be from someone who's been in the experiment and knows where to start, where to hone in, what to pull out to give you so that you can actually see results quicker. Whereas when you go to Google, yes, you can get the information, but it's all here. Whereas in a reading, we tie it into your life so that you can actually understand how to bring it in.
Mm-hmm. And I've had a few readings with you because we went over my chart and then we did another session together, and it was really great because we got to actually talk about it. Yes, okay, you can Google, like you said, you can Google it, but you can't chat about it. You can't ask questions. You can't dive deeper into, or if maybe you don't understand that aspect or understand how you can make it work with you, your life, your business, and or what. The last time we had a session together, we talked about strategies, right? Strategies, what kind of strategies would work with my human design and in my business. So it's really great having that person that you can bounce back to. And like you said, you pull out from the chart what that person, right, might need to know or want to know. And then you can expand on it, which is really super cool. So I definitely highly encourage the reading, because it can be life-changing and business-changing in a way.
Yeah. And also these readings, they can be tailored to business as well. So if it's something where it's I want to understand my design to my business, then we can do that too. But also what you may find is the life piece and understanding you is the key to understanding your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And also you got this amazing freebie, the free human design workshop. Where the F do I start?
Yeah. That's it, right? I was what name? Human design, discovering your truth. And I'm no, let's really bring this down to how I lead, and it's simplicity. So where do I start? And it's really just a very short 1-hour overview of what human design is, the core pieces, so that you can understand what you're looking at in your chart and things like that. And then you can kind of know then if you want to move forward with diving deep.
I love it. So definitely download that, because it's awesome. And I'm going to have to the link in the show notes for that. But this has been so great, Bethany. And I know like this is only, the beginning of the human design conversation, and there is so much more to it, and you can go in so deep. So that's why if you're really interested, if you're listening to this and you're really interested in human design, I encourage it. I think human design is awesome. And like you said, we are energy, and understanding how we are meant to move through this world and discovering our true purpose, I think, is essential to the success of our life and business and life, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on this show. I appreciate you. It's been so great talking to you again. I know we could talk for hours, but thank you so much for being here and meeting with me at 7:30 in the morning.
It's nice. It's a nice start to the day.
I know. And it's sunny for you now. It's like, I know it's been raining a little bit lately.
It's back to sunny season now. And it's like every single day, 40 degrees now. So.
Oh, wow. Amazing. All right. Well, we'll chat with you on the next episode. Take care.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast. If you did, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Julie's included a link in the shows to make it nice and easy for you. And if you want to create a beautiful, profitable business of your own, make sure to go unlock your access to Julie's 6 must-have resources for female entrepreneurs. These resources will help you build and grow your business with simplicity and ease. You can find them at juliecbutler.com/freebie vault. We'll see you in the next episode.